Welcome to the inner workings of the Not So Genius Mind. I'm Amanda McCombs, the Not So Genius, and your Mrs. Daybreak this season. Here I have my Sash sister, Kaylyn Lippert. She's Mrs. Wasatch Front. She's an RN. What else? Military wife. Her husband's in the Air Force. All kinds of good things. She's just a really good friend of mine, and I think she is probably one of the first friends that I actually made in the pageant. And I feel like you were my little cheerleader. The whole time I kept trying to go through the whole process. I have Kaylyn's cute little voice in the back of my head telling me to be confident. That was the thing you just kept telling me over and over and over again through rehearsals and everything else. Just do it. Be confident. Be yourself. Just do it.
Yes. And, something is to be said. When I tell other people those things, it's because I need it myself too. Then it helps everyone all around. And you're one of my dearest friends from the pageant. And I just love you, Amanda. And yeah, I'm Kaylyn. I'm Mrs. Wasatch Front and the Mrs. Utah America/American pageant. I am a registered nurse. I'm a military spouse. Yeah, all kinds of things. I'm the founder of Reclaimed, which is a ministry that's near and dear to my heart. And I'm excited to be hanging out with you, Amanda. I love you.
I love you too. Please tell us more about Reclaimed because, yes. I've been watching on social media and listening and following along, but maybe for some of my listeners that don't know, tell us more about it.
Reclaimed comes from this idea to retrieve or recover something that was previously lost. And I think a lot of us can relate to reclaiming or needing to reclaim something in our lives. For me, it was when I got married, realizing the detriment that purity culture had on my life. I grew up in the Southeast in Alabama, and the culture surrounding women's health, your body, intimacy, purity, all of these things. All of these things, the culture was kind of like, don't ask, don't tell, just don't do it. You need to save yourself, but we're not going to explain why. Mm-hmm. And that's in relationships, that's in as things as simple as your menstrual cycle. So many different avenues that goes down. And I didn't realize how much of an effect that would have not on just my mind, but my body and my spirit too. And so I get married to the love of my life, Cody. And we did save ourselves for that. And we were really looking forward because we did it in what we think is God's way. But expectations were not met very quickly. And we realized that things were seriously wrong, just in terms of pain and of my health. So I actually got diagnosed with a condition called vaginismus, which is kind of like a mind-body connection when it comes to intimacy. And because of the way that I grew up, thinking it was unholy and dirty to understand your body in that way, it actually created a legitimate physical disorder that made things painful and quite literally impossible. And that played a huge toll on my mental health. It played a huge toll on our relationship, having to go through that journey. And I think it's a journey that's it's gonna, I think, be a lifelong journey, honestly, and something that we continue to revisit throughout our marriage. But as I'm trying to find freedom and restoration through this process and us try to redeem this part of our marriage, it wasn't easy. And I was scrolling through a Pinterest, just on Pinterest, I look there for nail ideas, hair stuff, all the things that girls like Pinterest for, recipes. Yes. And I came across this quote, and it kind of stopped me in my tracks. And I feel like the Holy Spirit slapped me in the face with it. And it said, your ministry is found where you've been broken, and your testimony is found where you've been restored. And
Ooh.
it
Hey,
just
hold on.
like,
Say it one more time.
yes, your ministry is found where you've been broken, and your testimony is found where you've been restored.
Ooh.
Meaning, God is going to use that story that broke you and change it into a story of restoration, because that's who he is and that's what he does. And he's going to restore you. And through that, you are going to help other people that are going through the same thing. Not that he makes you go through bad things, but because of the crazy, broken world that we live in,
Yeah.
crappy things happen, even if you're doing it in the way you think you're just supposed to, doing all the right things. And that's what made us me and my husband, angry for so long, because we were like, God, we did everything the right way. We waited. Like, why are we going through such a hard thing this early in our marriage?
Did it
And
kind of
now
feel like a
we have
punishment?
a new perspective.
Like, what did you do wrong?
It kind of did. Yeah, it kind of did. And that's something that we really struggled with for a while, and that we had to get counseling and prayer about, and now we realize, like, it wasn't a punishment, and it sucks, and we might not ever understand why we went through that.
Yeah.
But as we have gone through this journey, and as we have begun to find healing, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, we're seeing where God is using us to help other people. And that quote that I saw is what sparked that in me. And it set me on this path of figuring out how to help other couples, other marriages, but also other women and the wives, and maybe just single women, dating women, engaged women, married women,
Any women.
right? Any woman who maybe puts their identity in something that is happening to them or has happened to them, and helping flip the script on that, helping marriages and relationships find freedom.
Mhm.
And my God-sized dream is to create lasting cultural transformation by demolishing the detriment of purity culture in our nation and what people think purity is, helping people to see the true meaning of sexuality and intimacy the way that it was intended, not just because there's rules, but because, in my opinion, God has these things in place because he knows that way is going to create more happiness for us.
Mhm.
It's going to sustain us more, and it's just all around better. But religion, not God, but religion, has thwarted that so much that we think that's what God thinks, and that we're just supposed to be miserable all of our lives. And that is not what he has intended for us at all. God's plan for our lives is so much better and more enjoyable than we could ever imagine. But we've got to give him and not religion a chance, if that makes sense. And that's my goal with all of this, using my nursing degree, having a huge interest in women's health because of my experiences, but also using mine and Cody's story to provide hope and inspiration to other couples experiencing the same thing, and giving them a safe place to have these open conversations and to find hope in their situation.
What do you think has been something that's really helped you and Cody navigate this the best way?
Community is one of the biggest things. At first, when we started this journey, I thought I was like the only person to ever go through this. I went to pelvic floor physical therapy, which God bless all of my pelvic floor physical therapists. They were all so amazing. But something that one of my first physical therapists said, she looked at me with pity, and she was like, "You're not supposed to be in here. Like, usually the people I care for are either postpartum or like older. You're 19. Like I feel so bad that you have to be here, you know?"
Mhm.
And while I appreciate appreciated that, it also it did make me feel isolated, you
Yeah.
know? Like, oh, I'm the youngest person to ever go through this, or the lies that the world and that Satan tells us is the goal is to make you feel isolated and alone, because we're meant for community. We're meant for friendships. We're meant for relationships. And so finding, at first it was just a couple of family members that we trusted with the story. Um, then I started a small group in my church for military spouses and members of the military in our community that are female. And that provided me another sense of community. Then pageantry provided me a sense of community. And
Mm.
through that, I was able to get outside of myself and my own pity and my own wallow. And then God teaching me how to then outreach to others going through similar experiences. And it provides as much healing for me as it does for the people that I'm serving.
That is so powerful. Holy smokes. I love you.
I love
I
you.
appreciate you so much. You're so open and honest, and you're such a light in my life. And like, you and I believe not totally different things, but like, you and I have chatted a lot because we developed this friendship thanks to the
Right.
pageant. But I have like a contentious relationship with religion and with like,
Right.
I'm navigating and trying to figure out what I really believe again,
Hmm.
because pure part of it was purity culture was super damaging in my life too, in a
Yes.
different way.
Hmm.
It was more like, so I was raped and sexually assaulted, and I've been stalked and all kinds of things. And they talk a lot about how you're like chewed gum. Nobody's
Hmm.
gonna want you after that. And
Yeah.
it was like, what were you wearing and things like that. And instead of having a community that was like my village that would come and help me and take care of me and nurture me, a child, right? Uh,
Right.
they turned against me because I was sinning. I wasn't
Right.
doing it God's way. I
Right.
had a
Right.
baby out of wedlock, right? And so instead of having a community, I was isolated. And I think we
Right.
have created, just overall, especially as women, um, we've tried to create a society where you don't need a village and where you can look at each other and like judge each other. And that's not what it's supposed to be. And you're a huge testament to,
Right.
because like, even though I'm like, I don't know what I believe anymore. You love me just the same. And you don't shove things down my throat, and you're not like, you don't force it on me. And I love our Marcos, even though we were talking before this, because my favorite thing to get is a Marco from you asking how you can pray for me that week or what you can do for me. Like, even though I don't pray, right? I meditate, I do whatever. It's still a connection to it's like this mind, body, soul connection that I'm
Hmm.
finding, right? And you are talking
Right. Because we're
alongside
all made for it.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your mind, body, soul, spirituality, your spirit connection, um, just the damage that was done with purity culture is blocking that. And it's hard to find
Right.
the connection because like we weren't taught that the right things were important. And we weren't taught about how our bodies worked. Like it just was
Hmm.
what it was. And
Yeah.
you had to just accept the pain. And I can imagine
Right.
like any other couple that would go through what you went through and trying to figure like having that pain and being alone and feeling isolated and shutting down can really drive you apart. And I
Yeah.
love that you two are communicating and
It was really
navigating it
hard.
together. It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, we had to learn that, and it took a little while. And we
Yeah.
had, honestly, that something like that, it only, you can't help but it create resentment
Yeah.
for each other within each other. And being quite candid here, our marriage almost didn't survive it. We were
Oh,
19 and 20 years old, and I thought we were going to be another statistic. And I thought everyone in my family was going to say, I told you so.
yeah.
And
That's so
we thought that, this wasn't going to work. And thank God that we had people around us that we sought out as much community as we could. Just imagine all of this going on, but you also just moved 2,000 miles away from everyone you knew and loved.
Oh, I'm
And
so
it's in the middle of COVID
yes.
and
Oh my God.
2021, and there's no base resources right now. And you're in nursing school. There were so many things working against, and I personally can only say that it is God and the prayers of our family and our friends that got us through that season. And I mean, we still have, obviously, like any other couple, have our fair share of struggles, and a lot of it is still related to this journey.
Yeah.
Because although, thank God that the physical pain has much, much, much lessened, there is such a damage that does to your mind, and that kind of affects your hormones too.
Oh
And so
yeah.
and honestly, like, today has kind of been the day that I've realized that, talking with family and talking with doctors that I know and things like that, that's my next step that I'm going to be going on, is figuring out, like, is there something wrong with my hormones, or do I just have
Mhm.
PTSD?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh my
like,
goodness.
that is a form of PTSD, and it's hard. And that still leaves both me and my husband with unmet expectations and dissatisfaction that we've got to work through. And so it feels like our marriage has been so much work. However, we are closer and a lot more understanding of each other than a lot of marriages our age, because of everything that we've been through. We have had to mature and grow in that way quickly, or we would have lost our marriage and
Yeah.
our love for each other.
That's so hard. And how long have you been married again?
We almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years. And they just went on their honeymoon.
Yes, we
Thank
did.
goodness.
Yes.
I
That's
love,
another thing with military life. You're gonna have to wait, but the wait is usually worth it. So it was worth it.
yeah. I loved all the pictures. Well, and then you flew back and then showed up at our mock interview and I was kind of shocked to see you there because I knew you were just barely coming back. And I was like, there's no way
Yeah.
I mean, because that's not a short drive. That's not a teeny little drive.
No,
Uh,
thankfully, Abby, Mrs. Rocky Mountain drove us. I was so thankful, because I don't know if I would have been able to drive back. I was so tired.
oh, I love that.
But I love her so much. She's such a light, and she's such an amazing friend and mentor to me. She's a beautiful soul.
She really is.
But
She just radiates.
she radiates love and light and confidence, rooted in all the right things.
Uh,
Um, yeah.
I'm so happy you guys finally got to go on your honeymoon. And then last season, you were Mrs. Wasatch Front. We were standing by each other. You were like my little buddy. Like even
We
just
were
your
buddies.
leader, you were like, you were a light for me. I think Clarissa Thomas, Mrs. Utah County, she talks about like a bright thread in a tapestry of life, and you're totally one of those. And
Oh, thank
you're
you.
very comforting. I love having you around. Where was I going to go with that? I don't know. I just started rambling about how amazing you are.
You're too sweet. We were talking about
Oh,
standing
and
beside me.
you had just came back from the pageant. Anyway,
Yeah.
oh no, that's what I was going to say. Your husband was deployed last season.
Oh, yes.
So it was like you were going through this as a missus, but at the same time, like your husband was kind of far away and it was
Very far
a
away.
little lonely.
It was, but that was the importance of community. And that's
Yeah.
what I hope
Huge.
so many women can see, is such a huge advantage of being involved in pageants. It's
Uh,
not just a beauty contest where we're competing against each other. We're competing with each other. We all have the same goal in mind, but we're all cheering each other on along the way, especially with our um organization.
Yeah, especially with ours. I remember standing next to you, and as each person was called, both of us were like, yay, because it really is a celebration of how incredible each and every single one of these women are, because it's a refining process. And you really have to figure out
Absolutely.
who you are and what you stand for. Because when we go and we talk to the judges, we only have so much time with each one of them.
Right. Less than 5 minutes.
Right? And then they have to make a decision. And that's like half our score right there.
Yeah. I was talking with
So,
my stepmom about it last night. I was trying on my wardrobe, and I was on the phone with my stepmom, and we were talking about it, and she was like, just on the stage and the just like stage presence, beauty, and things, like only 5 out of the top 10 that were there is what I would have chosen. And I said, well, you don't know how that on stage, you don't know how that personal interview went. It's really
uh,
about, it's not about what you look like, it's about who you are
mhm.
and what you bring to the community. And we all have such amazing things to bring. And it's such a subjective thing too that you cannot take it personally.
Yeah. I
But
love
it's hard not
I
to.
love that with our organization, specifically with Mrs. Utah, um we it kind of helps connect us to our community, and we
Yes.
can take and do with it whatever we want. But it's opened up a lot of opportunity for me personally to be able to I just barely started a nonprofit. I'm in the middle of doing all the tax stuff for it right now. So it's like a
Wow.
LLC, and it's going to be to help connect other nonprofits together. And I actually have a healing, it's called the Wellness Farm. I'm on their advisory board, and it's therapy on a farm,
I love that.
like yoga therapy, group therapy, individual therapy. Once a month, they have a themed group therapy session, and they have like a 600-pound pig and a blind dog and all the just you go there and you feel grounded, like
Yeah.
it's driving up to the property. So without the pageant, I wouldn't be able to go through the refining process that I went through to be able to get to that place, because that's really where I feel like I need to be.
Right. Right. And again, talking with my stepmom about this last night, regardless of if you receive the crown or not, like receiving the crown, I think is everyone's goal, or they wouldn't be doing it. But more than that, it opens up so many doors of opportunity. And like you said, as you refine, as you're understanding what you stand for, what your callings in life are, how you want to help others, and watching those doors open, like that's what it's about. And that's what you're gaining along the way. And that stuff doesn't just last for a year like a title and a crown and a sash does.
Yeah.
Yeah, the title and the crown and the sash is fun, and it also opens doors of opportunity, but God's going to use all of your journey to grow you and to open doors of opportunity for you to impact others as well. And I
Yeah.
think that's the beauty of pageantry and of the Mrs. America, and namely the Mrs. Utah
Yeah.
organization, is that we all cheer each other on, and that we have such a great sense of community and support.
Well, and the women keep coming back season after season, even if they don't win.
Yeah,
And
right. And that
we support
shows.
each other.
Mhm.
That shows
And
what's,
even for those who go to other organizations for a year or whatever, like we support them too.
yeah,
It's not about the titles that we hold. And that's something that it's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned through pageantry. And it's been huge in my own life, that like you cannot identify yourself by the titles that you hold and the labels that are on you. You are identified by who you are, and those labels are your like assignments in which to do that,
yes.
is how I like to see it. And it has helped me so much not allow my circumstances or what others think of me to define who I am.
I love that. And it propels you on this self-discovery journey to figure out what you stand for.
Yeah, and what you're on this earth to do. And that can
Right.
change too.
Yeah.
And those things are always and ever evolving through the experiences that we have, and that's also okay.
And your experience in it can be whatever you make it. Like I've had a lot of
Yes.
people that ask me, what do you have to do with your title, like with your sash? And really, you don't really have to do anything. Like you can
Nope.
just show up for the pageant, right? And
Mhm.
like you have to do your interview and things. But outside of that, like all the community things and creating your platform reclaimed, like
Yeah.
whatever you want to do with that, you can. It's not a requirement to
Right.
big huge event or create a brand or do this or that. None of
Mm-mm.
that is required. Your whole experience is what you make it. And for us, just a it's propelled us to healing.
That's exactly what it's done. It's propelled us to healing and then also helped us learn how to help others and
Yeah.
help others through that healing process too. And as those other people are finding healing from things, I am too. And
Yeah.
as I'm making my videos for social media, I'm finding healing and God is speaking to me as I'm talking. I'm like, oh, that was good. I need to think about that and live by that. Like
Right?
happens all the time. But that's a huge misconception that I believe is that I had to have it all figured out or I won't be equipped to do this. But like you're not going to be equipped before the calling. You're called and then you're equipped as you're going through it and helping others.
It
But
kind of
step
feels
out in faith
like,
and do it.
not to like be too cliche, but have you heard the building a plane as you fly it analogy? It
I
kind
haven't heard
of
it in a long time.
it kind of feels like that in a way,
Yeah,
but
it
it's
does.
like as you're flying, you're finding things that aren't working, right? So you just got to fix it. And how can you
Hmm.
fix it so you can fly?
Right. Right. And there's so many times I'm like, oh, me and my husband are like going through this rough spot, or oh, we're having to navigate through this. I'm like, well, who am I to be telling other people what to do? But it's like through our experiences and what we're finding, and maybe I'm researching for other people, and then I'm like, oh, maybe we should try that.
Yeah.
There's so many things like that we're growing from. So I can't compare like, oh, first can't compare stories, can't compare to other people and what they're doing. You just have to stay focused on your mission.
Yeah.
And I'm finding healing as I'm living out that mission, which has been a beautiful thing.
That's so, you're such a good person. Love you. I love you. You just really helped me. Like you just kept telling me, be confident. And you were life changing for me. I'm so thankful I got to
Oh,
stand next to you for that little bit.
yes. I know we need to make sure we're on the same side this year,
No, we'll have to talk to Di and no, not Di, it'd be Alicia.
Alicia.
Yes. We have to
Hopefully we are. And I'm so excited I think she's supposed to send out what opening number choreography today. And I'm like, send it. I'm gonna put on my outfit.
um right after the pageant was done last March, I was like, I want to do it again. Like, and a lot of people get let down when they don't
Hmm.
get crowned, but I think like especially talking to you and kind of learning because you were like you kind of took me under your wing to teach me about all the pageant things because I hadn't done
Yeah.
it before. Um, you were showing me the ropes. I had no idea what I was doing. I was so thankful for that. And I think a lot of people get like the wrong idea when they think about pageants and they think that everyone's trying to cut each other down or like they're sabotaging each other or whatever, but really we're motivating each other and we're helping each other and sharing things
We're
and
building each other up.
we're building each other up and we're not trying to undercut each other. And I haven't ever really felt like it's a competition. I feel like it's a celebration.
If you view it as a competition, it's you that has the wrong mindset. And that's what I had the first year. I mean, granted, I had just turned 21. I was in the middle of nursing school, my first time ever doing a pageant like this. And I had a lot of, and I'll be honest, like I was real butthurt after the first year. Did I deserve top 10? No, I didn't. But I didn't
You had top 10 your first year?
No, I didn't. No, I
Oh, you
didn't.
didn't.
But
Oh,
that's
you
why I was upset. And I was like, oh, like I should have gotten it, blah, blah, blah. I had all the wrong mindsets. I didn't understand what this was about.
Yeah.
And, when I decided to come back when I got over myself, um, like I had so much growth last year. And then again, exponential growth this year. And it's not even just been in like my pageant life, it's been in my spiritual life and things too. And a lot of that is thanks to Abby as well. She has taken me under her wing spiritually, and she has mentored me, and she has spoken life into me, helping me understand so many things that culture had taught me wrong. And I think because of all of that, because that is the foundation, my faith is the foundation of my life, that in turn, there's so many other things that have blossomed and had fruit because of that. And so I'm so thankful to her for that. And it's been really cool also to go on this journey with her and teach her the ropes and these things. Um,
It's
I
so
don't remember where I was going with that, but
she's lighting. At the Galentine's party, it was just fun. I saw her with her lashes done. And I know people think like all this superficial stuff is whatever, but it's out of her comfort zone for sure. You can tell it's not her thing. It wasn't my thing last year. Last year was my first year. This is your third year?
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, but she's embracing it. And she's taking on
Yes.
the challenge, and she is making kits for like
Yeah,
she's doing so much, and
she is. It's been
she's just
so
letting
cool
it
to
all.
watch that. And it's been cool to watch her find healing too.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
all we're that's really what we're doing, is we're all finding healing as we're serving others. Because our
and
experiences is what's
sharing,
leading us to those ministries.
yeah, sharing our stories is helping us heal, and it's helping others know that they're not isolated and alone in their
Right.
experiences.
Right.
So I like the purity culture thing with my family. It was like, it's not supposed to feel good, right?
Oh.
You're only supposed to do it to make a baby. Don't do it
Oh.
for any other reason, right? You should only do it if you're married. If you do it outside of marriage, um, that's awful, right? I had a baby out of
Mhm.
wedlock, and my mom just hated it. That was the worst thing that I could have done. Um, and so there was a lot of just that mentality of like being dirty and unworthy and
Yeah.
nobody's going to want me and just what it does to your self-esteem. Um, my body took on all kinds of traumas, right?
Yeah.
I had to have a total, how old was I? 34? I had to have a total hysterectomy. I
Yeah.
had polycystic ovarian syndrome, adenomyosis, and endometriosis.
Gosh.
And that was after, like, that was my seventh laparoscopic surgery.
Oh,
And
goodness.
finally took it out. But, like, I already had kids, I had a couple miscarriages, and my body was just holding on. It was so heavy, right? It was holding me back. And after I had that and started going to therapy and healing, like, my spiritual self and my soul, then my body is able to not be in fight or flight. And
Hmm.
when it's got so much adrenaline, and is it cortisol? Is that the other one? I'm talking a
Hmm.
bunch of science, medical terms from my old CNA days. Um, you can't heal if you're in that state.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Fully, kind of. But your energy is being put into the wrong thing. So
Right.
mindset shift and being able to heal on the inside is also helping me radiate and heal on the outside.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And when you were talking about the dirty and things,
Yeah.
like I do I shared some of those similar beliefs. It was more of, for me it was like I'd I'd never really seen a super healthy, um what's the word? romantic marriage. Like I had never seen what healthy
Mm.
romance looked like, because I feel like, a couple generations back, like you don't show it like in the public. Like you don't do that.
Yeah.
And then I'm a child of divorce. My parents also had me and my twin sister out of wedlock. They were in high school still. And so that obviously, like, they didn't work out very long because they were high schoolers. They were growing up. They were not meant
They
to
were
be
doing
together.
for babies.
Right. Like they had two babies. They were 17 years old. It's crazy to think about. And so that was a dysfunctional dynamic. And I will say, like, I have great relationships with all of my family members now. So family, I love you. It's not that. But they also are aware of the dysfunction that was in our family at that time.
Yeah.
And raised by our grandparents, they were wonderful examples to us. I'm so thankful to be raised by them. But we didn't, ever see a healthy romantic dynamic between husband and wife. So I think that's part of it. And then part of the belief was, that what purity culture says, there's so many different illustrations that use. They use like the rose, which I had a rose here. And they would say, okay, here's your first partner. And they throw the petal on the ground. And the next partner, throw the petal on the ground.
Oh,
The next partner, throw the petal on the ground till you have nothing left. And then they're like stomping it under their feet. Not that I ever went through one of these classes, but doing my research, this is literally what they did in these classes to basically scare people into purity.
yep.
Um, and they would say, this is your worth now that you've had all of these partners.
That's so sweet.
And actually, my church that I watched this morning, I watched my home church from back in Alabama, and it was about like the dating life and purity culture and things and dispelling it, which I was like, what a perfect time for my church to be talking about that. How funny, you know?
Yeah.
And it made me think of a Bible verse. It's Romans 8:1, and it says, therefore, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Like, God does not condemn you. Religion condemns you, and that is for man.
Yeah.
Other people are condemning. God is love, and he doesn't want us to feel those ways. And I grew up thinking, okay, if you think of anything even remotely like sexual, like you are so dirty. I mean, I kissed boys and things like that, but like I'm very hesitant on all those kinds of things. Um, yeah, just very much like didn't tell you why you couldn't. They just say like don't, or you're going to hell.
Yeah.
And like that's that. So
I don't remember my parents like hugging or kissing or holding hands or anything like that. And my parents divorced after being married 40 years.
wow.
And my mom was sleeping on a different floor of the house. Like they
Yeah.
used to sleep in the same bed, but like the way that they treated each other when I was little, I kept asking why they didn't just get a divorce. So I
Mm,
never really had an example of what like a healthy relationship looks like. Just
right. And what love,
yeah, because
true love looked like.
by the time I came around, they hated each other.
Mm,
Um, I was kind of like a band-aid, right?
hmm.
And like my siblings might not agree, but I was there at the end. Um, and my parents, my mom would kind of try to pin me against my dad and, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
I didn't
Very
have,
sided.
yeah, I didn't have a good example of a healthy relationship and what that was supposed to look like.
Right.
Um, so now, like, I'm married and my husband has been divorced, and, a child up, like, we're blended family and trying to figure out
Yeah.
what that looks like, what it looks like to be a mom, what it looks like to be a dad, what it looks like to be husband and wife, because we get to decide that.
Hmm. Yeah. But it's hard to know what's going to work because you haven't seen the things that have worked. And another thing for me, even like not seeing that example and then being in an abusive household during my middle school years and being abused by my ex-stepdad and not understanding it was abuse at the time and having so much anxiety and almost forms of PTSD from that too, that also that carries into your future relationships. And it's, I think this generation is realizing and recognizing that, and that's why we're flipping the script like how
Mhm.
you and me are, so that our kids have that good example, because it, you want to break that generational curse with you, and like you are and like I am. And
Yeah.
it's hard work, but it's worth it for our children.
Yeah. Well, and what an example we're setting. They really look to us for everything.
Yeah,
I think being honest, like we talk about social media a lot. Being honest about what we're going through and not just showing the highlights, not just showing the good
right.
things. Because like okay, I'm going to be really random. Aliens could come to our planet, right? And then they would look at our social media and try to do some research and figure out like what life is like. And if that's all they had and they didn't know, they wouldn't actually know like what humans really go through.
Yeah. There's
Everything
so
has a
many human
filter.
experiences that we think we're going through alone because we hop on social media and see only the good things that people are posting,
Um,
you know? So it's important on the platforms that we can, and just in real life conversations, to show the good, bad, and the ugly, so we know that we have community, and so people know that they're not alone in their struggles, and in the good and the bad. Like, we can celebrate the good, and then your village holds you up in the bad, and then you do that for the next person.
yeah,
That's the society that I feel God intended.
yeah,
And a lot of people maybe think that the society that Christian or evangelical culture has now is what like God intended, and it's not. And that's literally why Jesus came, is to dispel all the crap that men were putting in religion. Men and women, but men as in humanity,
yeah.
are
Well,
putting in religion.
and then they take it to like the other extreme. Some
Mhm.
people.
Yeah, it's either one extreme or the other. I mean, not to talk about politics, but in so many other human experiences, including politics, there's so many black and white things. And especially being like a healthcare worker, being in the experiences that I've had, I'm like, there's so much middle ground that people don't care to look at just in life in general. And
Yeah.
it's like, come on, guys, like, we're human and not everything is as black and white as we make it out to be. So let's find solutions in the gray area, because I think that's where a lot of us, if not all of us, live, is in the gray area.
Well, and I wished that there was less judgment and more
Yeah.
compassion.
And acceptance.
Like we are all humans trying to have a human experience,
Mhm.
and it's hard. Being a human is hard.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure it out. That's
Trying
what
to do our
life
best.
is figuring it out. Why don't we help each other figure it out instead of pointing fingers and acting like someone else is doing it worse than you, when in reality we all have our struggles.
Okay, look. My husband sent me that picture I was talking about earlier. Hold on. Okay. Once upon a time, I met my husband on a dating website. And this was his profile picture. Because I wasn't even gonna, like, I turned on my profile because I had to turn it on to read it to help my friend set her profile up. I'm gonna see if I can make it bigger. This was his profile picture.
Oh, oh my goodness.
He was in Thailand. And that's a real baby
Oh,
tiger.
oh, that makes me want a baby tiger.
I know, Tiger King. Anyway, he still has that I still have that t-shirt. He's in it. We've almost been married for 10 years. So your husband is in the Air Force. My husband was once upon a time. Um, I was really kind of hoping I wasn't going to end up with somebody from the military just because I kept having bad experiences with them. But he, like, man, it made him what he is. And I love him so much,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I feel like there's a lot of growth that comes from being in the military, but there's also like things about it that I don't like. Like, sometimes that soldier mentality can be really tough.
It can be.
However, like, I'm really thankful for the military experiences that we've had, even though it's been so, so hard. Like, we would not be where we are today without it.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really thankful for the deployments and for the time we don't get together, because it allows us to appreciate the time we have together. And
Yeah.
even our experience, like, I wish we didn't have to experience everything we've gone through in terms of intimacy and romance and purity culture. However, like, as we continue to find healing from it, we have our good days and our bad days. And I will say, like, past week or so, like, it's been a little rough because you have those seasons of life, but also, like, I don't think I would trade it because of the lessons we've learned and the growth that we have, and we're never going to take each other for granted. And we are a lot stronger than a lot of marriages because we have had to rely on each other and God for so much that has happened in our relationship. And we know it's a beautiful story that people also need to hear.
Yeah. Well, and I love and appreciate how open and real you are about it, because
Yeah.
a lot of people are not, and they kind of try to hide or like pretend like things are okay, or maybe not vocalize what they need. And
Hmm.
just sharing your story it's incredible. It's very healing.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been really healing for me. And, intimacy, sexuality is not something that a lot of people, especially in the culture in which I grew up, very taboo. But
Yeah.
it really doesn't have to be. And culture has made it that, not
Yeah.
God, not the Bible.
Yeah.
And there's actually a whole book of the Bible that's about romance and intimacy.
What is it?
It's called the Song of Solomon /
Oh,
Song of Songs.
yes. Song.
Yeah.
I
And
used to have a song to remember all the different books.
oh yeah. Oh my goodness. I used to have all those
Yeah.
songs. We used to do like drills in I went to a private Christian school for elementary school, and we used to do what's called sword drills because the Bible is the sword of the spirit. And we would have the Bible. Oh, here's my Bible. We would have the Bible like this, and we all had to stand like this, and this hand had to be under, this hand had to be over. You couldn't have your finger over here. And they would say, "Okay, John 3:16," and we'd repeat John 3:16. They'd be like, "Ready, set, go," and you'd have to go.
And find it? Oh my heck.
Where to go? Where to go? Ah!
Oh,
And then you do this, and then you raise your hand, and whoever's first gets to read it, and they get a point. John 3:16.
oh my
And then they read
goodness.
it. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that everyone believes in him would not perish but have eternal life. And they'd be like, "Okay, good, you get a point." And like, whoever had the most points would like advance to the next tournament. We'd have tournaments on how to find Bible
Oh
passages.
my heck.
Anyways, um, so like, I really appreciate the way in which I grew up, because I grew up in a wonderful home that put family and faith first, and faith first and family second. And I think that it's a wonderful way to live. And however, some of those things that culture has placed in the church, I call it cultural Christianity,
Yeah.
that people think is Christian, but it's really not. Because if you go and read the Bible, interpret it correctly, then you will see it's not in there.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm wanting to flip the script and change the culture on, because then I think a lot of people would be open to the thought of God
Yeah.
and the thought of those types of things if it wasn't the way it is right now. And that's our fault as the church in that culture.
We talked, I don't remember. Maybe it was you that I talked with about this, but we talked about like how you can tell if somebody is a man of God.
Yeah.
And like, even though I'm like, I don't know what I really believe anymore. But
Right.
if somebody is part of a religion and they're like proclaiming it from the mountaintops and whatever, that isn't necessarily somebody that is a man of God. Like, you can see it in
Right.
their everyday actions and in the little
Yes.
they do.
Yes. A huge analogy that's used in the Bible is tree and fruit.
Yeah.
And you will see what kind of tree it is by the fruit that it bears. So if it's not bearing fruit, if it's bearing bad fruit, they're not a man of God.
Yeah.
Their tree is not rooted in script in the Bible, and their tree is not rooted in God. However, you see by their everyday actions or their fruit, you see what their life is rooted in.
Yeah. So I have been, like, I was raised going to church every Sunday. And since I got married, my husband and I don't do that. It's been like a decade. We'll go and we'll support family members when they're doing things if they need us to, but
Mhm.
we're not regular churchgoers. My husband's atheist. Um, and I had to kind of figure out because I had values and things that were taught to me through the church, and I kind of had to figure out how to navigate and do that without.
Mhm.
And like, really, what does parenting look like when you're not taking him to church every Sunday? And I used to take my
Mhm.
daughter to this church that we really liked, but I still was just like, I don't know, maybe it's not really for me. But
Yeah.
eventually, like, you learn it's less about where you are. Like, you don't have to be in a church building. You watched church on your couch and you watched church
Yeah.
in Alabama. I love that you're able to
Yeah.
do that. Like, people you know probably and things like that. That how cool. But that community and like those values and standards and things, I'm thankful for the ones that I grew up with, right? I used to teach
Mhm.
at a Catholic school and we just really worked on, and I'm not Catholic at all. I learned all about how to be Catholic. Um, but I just appreciated how open they were. And like I was able to ask questions and they didn't laugh at me when I was like, that's weird. That's not like what they taught in my church and things like that. Like I
Mhm.
appreciated that. And I appreciate being able to
Yeah.
have open conversations with people that believe
Right.
different things than me. It opens my
Yeah.
mind. So thank you. I love you.
Yeah. Same for me. Same for me. And I think that's been a beautiful thing about military life,
Oh, yeah.
that I almost wish everyone could experience is going to a place where the culture is different. Growing up in the Bible Belt and then moving here, it's a whole different ballgame. But it's
Oh,
because it's
yeah.
a different culture and people believe different things. Also, the US is so big that Alabama and Utah are I believe, over 2,000 miles away from each other.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very
Wow.
like somewhere else that would be countries away, you know? And so
Yeah.
it's like
Real. Another language.
culture is different and beliefs are different. So it's been very important for the confidence of my personal faith to have been expanded to people and to live in communities with people with different beliefs than me.
Yeah. I took a cultural anthropology class when I was in college. Like I had a lot of things I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be like an anthropologist, but like an archaeological. Like I wanted to go dig up stuff and find artifacts and be like Indiana Jones, or I wanted to be a surgeon. Like I,
Yeah.
I ended up being a teacher. Um, but I just loved learning their creation stories and like their roots of humanity in the stories that they tell. I did a tiny
Mhm.
little stint. I lived in Florida for a year, and I think that was because I grew up in Oregon, moved to Utah when I was 12. I did my mascara. I'm using it for a wand. I'm sorry. And after
Okay.
I moved to Utah when I was 12, and then I was 20, I think, and I moved to Florida, and then I moved back when I was 21 and had my daughter. And going to Florida, being with nobody that I knew, like I knew one person, and experiencing just a whole different life and culture over there totally changed my life. I was the other side of the country. Um,
Where in Florida were you at?
Orlando, Kissimmee.
Oh yeah.
I could walk to downtown Disney.
Oh, so fun.
I know. I would go all the time. I used to do karaoke with the Disney cast.
Fun.
Really fun.
I miss going to Disney and all those things. It was like a
It was
10-hour
so,
drive for us, but
oh, that's like, well, we could do Disneyland. It's just
we
not.
could do Disneyland.
I think we'd need to do a girls' trip to Disneyland.
That
My
sounds
kids
so
were
fun.
talking about it last night, though, so they'd be mad if I went without them, but we don't have to tell.
That's fine.
We'll do a sneaky trip,
Yeah.
and then they can come on another one.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh man. So with your platform reclaimed, what's your plan? Because you're doing videos,
Yeah, let me bring out my
telling your
notebook here.
story. This is, we get to talk about this when we do our interviews and stuff. So yeah,
Right.
I want to hear what your why is.
So my mission with Reclaimed is to foster safe environments so that marriages can find freedom from purity culture and difficulty with intimacy. In
Beautiful.
doing so, I'm equipping couples to reclaim their worth and identity through revealing God's true perspective on sexuality and intimacy. Um, and then some things that I have done that I've been working on, which of course it's always hard with my work schedule, but it is
Yeah.
important to me. So, my social media presence has been my biggest thing so far. I think that reaches people far and wide and expands, it increases opportunities for expansion
Yeah.
of people to hear your story. I'm educating on their own women's health issues, educating on reclaiming romance. There's so many things that I focus on my social media. Another thing that I've done is I hosted a donation drive for menstrual products. And in the next couple weeks, I'm going to be delivering those products to a couple of teen centers in Davis County. So I found out that all of Davis County high schools have teen centers, and it's
Oh,
for low income and homeless teens. So they have a place to stay, place where they can do their laundry, they have food, shelter.
oh, that's
And so I
cool.
think it's really important for them to have those essential supplies, because
Sure.
when you don't have those essential supplies, you lose your sense of dignity. And everyone deserves to have dignity when it comes to their body and their menstrual cycle.
That's true.
So, something that I would love to continue to expand, and I think Mrs. Utah is a great way in which to do it. It would be a stepping stone and a microphone for my voice, is to continue these donation efforts to get menstrual supplies for all schools across the Wasatch Front, and then do a tour as I'm dropping these donations off, do a tour like in the auditoriums of these schools, to do like an in-service
Hmm.
to explain, okay, this is what this product is for like the females. Okay, this is what this product is. This is how you use it. It would be also really cool to utilize my nursing degree to go into health classrooms and explain things in a way that doesn't sound scary, and just to educate
Yeah.
women on their bodies and how to protect themselves. I think that would be really cool. On my social media, I've also co-authored some topical Bible studies alongside Mrs. Rocky Mountain, which was really fun. We did that. We did a Thanksgiving challenge back in November, and it was a daily thing, and we swapped back and forth on which days that we did the devotionals. That was really fun.
Cool.
Um, the biggest thing on my social media is dispelling the lies of purity culture, replacing it with God's truth, and God's true perspective on purity and intimacy and your view of yourself. Um, but yeah, my biggest God-sized dream, something that I hope God utilizes me for, like a career opportunity, would be demolishing the detriment of purity culture, reclaiming our worth and identity through revealing God's perspective throughout the whole nation. Whether that is creating an interactive date night book, which I hope is will be published by the end of this year,
Oh,
um,
cool.
to provide a no stress date night ideas for couples that maybe feel like that is a chore, because me and my husband go through that a lot, of feeling like romance is a chore, and it shouldn't be. That takes the fun away from it.
Yeah.
So just providing like a no pressure thing someone can open up, scratch off, and find a cute date night idea that's low income,
That's so fun.
so it's budget friendly. And then I would love to write a book at some point on my struggles and what I've learned, and be able to have that for purchase, and keynote speaking. And I think all those things would be my God-sized dream with this. And then the final thing that I would really love to do at some point is for me and my husband to host a couples retreat, a marriage retreat. I don't know where it would be. I don't know what that looks like yet, but that's a huge God-sized dream of mine
That would be
to
cool.
allow couples that are struggling with intimacy to have a community, to know they're not alone, to be able to talk about it and to find different ways to um, cultivate and reclaim that part of their marriage.
Yeah.
So those are all of my huge ideas right now.
That's so cool. And you're so incredibly capable. I
Thank you.
love it. And I love how open and honest you are about everything. Like you're a very bright light in my life and I appreciate you. I love you.
I love you too, and I appreciate you too.
I hope you get to do all of those things. And I think especially even with like, regardless of getting the crown, I think that this is something that you could do, right?
Right.
And it's powerful. Like you're standing in your power and using your talents, and you're helping people find a safe space to be in their own body
Yeah.
and to
And to
cultivate.
not be ashamed of it either.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think that's the big word that we've been missing is shame, because we often feel a lot of shame, and that can block us from a lot.
So many things. That in itself keeps you isolated.
I think I felt a lot of shame last year when I was still trying to do the pageant. Like I didn't really feel like I belonged.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely still have imposter syndrome. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, I feel that. And I think that's
I think all of us
something that we
do.
kind of always go through in our life because we have all these big aspirations and the pageant helps put those into motion for us.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to always be a little bit of a sense of like, am I really made for this? Am I really cut out for this? But that's why you have your village of women around you to remind you, yes, you are, and yes, you can, and yes, you will.
Well, and I think even if you win the crown or if you don't win the crown, with what you're doing, you're going to have a whole village of women behind you supporting you along the way,
Right.
showing up for you, because
Right.
that's who these people are. And I'm
Yeah.
so crazy thankful for all of them. Even some of them that like, because Utah is a big state too. Some of them live kind of far away and they're still
Yeah.
for each other and show up for each other. So
Right. Right. And the thing with reclaimed is what I think is different than previous years for me. Not that I'm saying this would win me the crown or not, because regardless, God is using me and God will use this to open up opportunities for me. But this is reclaimed as something that's based on my personal experiences. It's not a seasonal thing in my life. It's been a pivotal transformational journey in my life. And I believe that God has this on my heart so he can use this for the rest of my life, whether I make a lot of money on it or not. Like I pray that I will have the resources and the opportunity to continue this work and to expand it and to do it, as my career would be the goal, because that's what I'm passionate about. And I think I've been feeling that more and more lately, which probably means that God's going to begin opening doors soon. So that's really exciting.
yeah. Well, and your heart and your soul is in it. Like
It is.
you can just
It's
tell.
embedded into who I am.
And you're just
And I think that's the difference.
You're just gonna do good. Like,
Yeah.
and you're owning your story and standing in your power and you're reclaiming who you are and reclaiming.
I'm reclaiming my identity. I'm not allowing I'm not allowing the label of vaginismus, of difficulty with intimacy. I'm not allowing those labels to define my life. And yes, there are days that I revert back into that, but then conversations like this help me to remember that that's not who I am. That's something I'm going through.
Yeah.
It's not who I
that's
am.
powerful.
And that I think that's where it changes.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're powerful. I love you so much. Man, I probably have to end this. I have no idea how long this episode is.
Oh my goodness, I don't even want to know.
I just love you so much. You have a powerful spirit, and I'm really proud of you, and I'm so happy to know you, and thankful that you're part of this Sash sisterhood, that you took me under your wing so I could figure out what the heck I was doing. Um, I just love you so much.
I love
Uh,
you too. And thank you for the opportunity to share my story yet again, because every time I do it, it heals a little part of me too.
well, I appreciate you doing it and being brave, like being able to be brave and do it because it does take some
Yeah,
bravery. So
it does. It absolutely does.
thank you so much. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram. My personal Instagram is k.thomas.lippert. And then linked to that is my reclaimed social media. So that's reclaimed.ktl because Instagram wouldn't just let me use reclaimed. So we put my initials at the end.
Yeah, that works.
um, and then on my social media, on my Instagram, if you click the link in the bio, you can actually access a Google form to share your own reclaim story. This can be anonymous.
Oh,
But to find healing for yourself, I would love if some people will go in and share their stories. It doesn't just have to be with intimacy, sexuality. It can be anything that you feel like you have reclaimed in your life, because I think that's a universal experience. So I would love to begin sharing those as soon as possible.
yeah.
And there's also a link tree with a variety of resources from my previous posts. So you can find resources to help you and your partner along in your journey as well. And you can always DM me on there. I'm more than happy to answer any questions, provide support, prayer, whatever you need, or direct you to the appropriate resources to help you with your needs.
Oh man, thank you so much, Kaylyn. I love you.
Absolutely.
Okay, friends and others, if you have listened this far, thank you so much. You can find me at Not So Genius on Instagram and at Not So Genius Podcast on YouTube. And I don't know, I guess this is the end. Well, take care of yourselves out there.
The end.
And